Okay, let's just go for it. This is BK versus Les Gros Baisseurs. They are in the final of my 3v3 Fighters tournament. It's obviously a 3v3 tournament with a wide map pool, 14 maps total, but a lot of them known from the right queue, so it shouldn't be too many maps for the teams to prepare still. Exclamation mark maps for the maps, by the way. Here we go. I will hear you tell. I had no idea you were streaming, so I dropped a follow, of course. I'll make sure to stop by and see if you make any progress with Age of Empires 2. Nah, just kidding. Yeah, just happy to follow back. Just like to stay updated on the community for overall positive one. Did I get the colors right here? I switched yellow to orange just to make it a little bit easier to distinguish green and yellow. The pockets. You're supposed to sponge another sub. Nice. The heart. So what do we have here? It is a best of 7. So for all the sets leading up to this, with the best of 5 semi-final and the rest of the sets being best of 3, we had a Civ draft. But obviously, as it's 7 3v3s, there aren't enough Civs for a full Civ draft. So the first game is Hidden Civ free pick, and then they've drafted for the remaining 6 matches. So from the second match onwards, we won't be seeing any mirror matchups, which is obviously the case here for the first Arabia game. Try hard Civs in picking here with the Franks, Mayans, and Britons for both teams. No surprise there. There's Britons giving the team bonus of 20% faster working ranges, and Mayans also having their civilization bonus with cheaper archers as the game progresses and an overall great economy. So looks like Miss Lou is on the move here, looking for... Could have potentially lamed the elephant or stopped the lane, but he's playing nice this time around, I guess. So not going for the lane after all, just gathering some intel and going dangerously close to TC here, but it's not as important when there's an elephant lure going on, because then you can't really... Then you don't want to risk taking out the enemy scout with your TC, because if you aren't paying attention, suddenly the TC will shoot the elephant and you're down 400 food, so don't want that to happen. So what to expect of this Arabia game? It's probably going to be the scouts and archers, scouts from the pocket and archers from the flanks, and then knights and paladin moving onwards into arbalists on the flanks, and whoever dominates more on either side gets the win. Looks like an 18 pop, no wait, 19 pop up here, okay, never mind. 18 builders up for Felipe, nothing too peculiar about that with the Franks. However, Tifix is going for the 20 pop up here and will indirectly have a better economy than his pocket counterpart. But obviously the uptime will be a bit slower as well. Let's see the idle TC timers here, comparable. So Felipe will have a roughly 30 seconds lead into the feudal age, which means almost an additional scout for the opposing Frank's pocket here. Could make a difference in the overall idea here. Looks like Paganini wanted to delay the barracks a little bit here, but doesn't take the risk. It's kind of close to the town center. Or it may have harassed the villager a little bit, actually, because his eagle is low on HP. I see the 22 pop up here for DFX, but since it's a team game, it's probably going to be the straight archers. Bit of a scouts fighting on the other side. No militia in production at all from either player, so it's only going to be the scouts and archers here. No infantry, militia, or men-at-arms shenanigans going on here. Paganini has the better hit points on the Eagle though, so he's well set to take a fight here against DFX. Obviously, DFX doesn't want to take that one because he needs to keep his scout alive for scouting purposes. So there's very little to distinguish the uplines here. They're trying to use their starting scouts to take out the Wilder here. Miss Lou, the only player with only 1 second, basically no idle TC time here, will have a head start over the other flanks here to the production, and it's also 21 pop up for the Britain's flanks, by the way, to get Archer's production running as early as possible. That could actually be a dead villager if Paganini commits here, especially if he gets help from his teammate, but now the scouts of Les Gros are joining in as well, and Paganini is actually the one risking to lose the scout now, almost dead, even HP, he goes for the hill, and obviously DFX doesn't want to follow. On the top side here is a see Faraday walling off his left hand side, the side closest to his Britain's opponent, and obviously Miss Lou doing the same thing to secure the home economy from scouts raids from the pockets. That's mainly the purpose of walling. Walls obviously doesn't necessarily keep archers out unless you wall cleverly and out of range of the archers, like DFX would probably wall a bit further out here, or maybe just here, and then any archer's aggression won't be able to hit the woodline, of course, but it's mainly to keep the mobile units of scouts and knights and that sort of thing out. In the very late game, you'll be seeing walls from corner to corner as well to secure trade routes. So in this case, for the Les Gros down here, and topside for the other team, assuming the corners have been secured, which is important to consider when you're closing in on the Imperial Age and need a gold source from trade when your gold mine starts running out. Let's have a look at the scouts count here. It's scouts lead for Felipe, who went up at 1 population less, as you can see. And as long as they keep their armies alive and don't risk unnecessary fights, they will be keeping that lead. 7 scouts to 6 now. It's the 7th one on the way for T-Fux. T-Fux obviously wanting to keep up with the production of the opposing pocket and challenge the fights properly in numbers. You see DFX scrambling up a defensive tower on the woodline there. I think that's a good call, because it's a heavy towards one pressure coming here, and if you get that preemptive tower up, you make it a lot more awkward for especially the archer's aggression to move in. Fletching is in for all the flanks, as you can see, so no significant upgrade advantages. Of course, forcing a defensive tower like this is good for BK as well, because that's going to delay any additional town centers in the castle age for the Mayans player, or alternatively that the Mayans player will need to get the market up and buy stone for additional town centers. Mine stone or buy stone, and that's a commitment of economy that the aggressing players won't need to worry about at this stage. Looks like Paganini has the numbers lead here, and that's also not so surprising given the fact that the Mayans have 10% cheaper archers in the feudal age and the Britons bonus, but they are both Mayans here, but the FX is also subject to aggression and will have the economy crippled as a result of that, which means that the archers production will be impaired as well, either because you're micromanaging units or because you're struggling for resources to keep the production going. Very good aggression here from BK. Don't really see any significant aggression on the other side here. Lots of blue archers from Wislu, who has a solid numbers lead over the Britain's player up top here, but that's going to develop into a 1 versus 1 on that side, I think, while the pocket armies engage in the middle here. Even the first defense is in for Felipe, and Tifux has reacted by going for scale barding armor as well, so as to match the upgrades of the orange player. More scouts for the green player here, but look at the populations, they are dead even here. So they've both been keeping consistent production at home, and Tifux may now actually be benefiting from that. One more villager going up to the feudal age here. So they successfully held off the aggression at DFX's base. However, DFX did lose 2 villagers and had to scramble up a defensive tower. So I'd say that's worthwhile aggression for BK. Now to the fight on the top side here with Mislu and Faraday trading numbers. Britain's archers, they are pretty much, or they are generic until the castle age, but once you reach the castle age, the Britons will have an extra range, but they're both Britons here, so that's no advantage for either of the Britons players here. Full mirrors, Britons, Mayans, Mayans, Franks. Sometimes you'll see Britons, Mayans up against each other on these sides. A defensive tower from Faraday as well, so that delays any extra town centers for the Britons player as well, and now committing a piece of stone wall in between the houses here as well to try and keep the aggression out. But looking at the woodlines here, the only safe woodline for Faraday, it's down here, and it's about to drop another lumber cap, I think. Castle Age on the way for the pockets. Timing seemed completely similar. Again, here's just a few seconds apart, and same villager count as well. Wheelbarrow for both. They're just completely mirrored in the approach here. I think we'll see different approaches as the non-mirror matchups with the draft happen later on. But for now, dead even between the pockets. But Tifux, at risk of losing much economy here now, they're pulling their armies over from DFX's side. But DFX is outmassed in archers. And Tifux, now on the way to the castle age, risk taking huge losses here now on the way up. May even get the second stable denied here, and that's a huge blow to the beginning of the castle age for Tifux here. Let's have a look at the resources. Still will be able to pump out some knights with the food and gold in the bank, but gets taken off gold, which cripples knights production. Two golds here for Tifux, but they're far from safe at this point. Of course, it is risky for Pagadini and Felipe to be here as well, but with the way in the archers coming in here, it's a bit dangerous for DFX to be here as well, with the archers still not crossbows here. Could lose crucial mass here before going up. And now crossbows with Bodkin outranging the other Mayans archers here could be nasty. However, Castle Age is in, and Knights now in production +2 defense, immediately queued by Tifux as well. So this mass of crossbows from Pagadini will be going down. And the eco losses here of Tifux, it's absolutely negligible. I can't pronounce that. He did go for light cav, which I think is a good call when you have that scout's mass and need to fight while waiting for the knights numbers to accumulate as well. Another good fight for Faraday over here against the Miss Lou, with the Britons here losing the feudal age archers mass. Well, not all of them, but some of them. But now with Castle Age in, crossbow and bodkin on the way, Miss Lou will go back to harass the woodline of Faraday, who will need to relocate yet again here. Eventually Faraday will get a town center up, I think, but he needs to mine stone or buy stone for that to happen. And he is now up against Britain's Bodkin arrow crossbows here with 5+3 range, so that makes it even more awkward to collect resources from within your compact walls like this. Let's have a look at the Knights numbers here of the pockets. Because of the hits on the T-Fux's core economy on the way to the castle stage is slightly behind the Knights numbers. Had to prioritize light cab and defense from the aggressing party. But the overall population situation is very even between these two teams. 140 to 138 is the villager count, and the military count is quite similar as well. However, the Green Pocket actually has more military total than the orange one here because of the light cab. So army mass matters as well, because you're essentially a meat shield for your teammates' archers units with cavalry. So if you have more numbers, you allow your teammate to take better fights against the enemy crossbows. Now again hitting the pocket here from BK. Good reaction from T-Fux to pull the villagers away. A couple of TCs up here now, so there's a limit to how much the crossbows can accomplish here. Ballistics now coming in from Miss Lou with the Britons, and matching the fact that Faraday has it as well. What you see here is not too uncommon in 3v3s when there's huge pressure, maybe especially on the pocket. You'll gather up your all three armies to deal with it, and suddenly Les Gros have the numbers advantage here, by far, against the, or not by far, but by decent margins against BK's armies here. They're still going to trade and make the best of it here while keeping consistent production at home here. Look at that, there's 4 ranges producing for Faraday. There's currently no production whatsoever for Paganini. Maybe committing a bit more to the eco at home here, but I think they're still happy with the trades here. Looking at the army numbers, it's still quite even, but they take the attention away from all of the armies of Les Gros and through the earlier raids, they're also establishing a lead here. Miss Lou seems to be losing numbers as well, as Faraday is here with another bunch of crossbows and gets quite a bunch of juicy kills here. This gold might also be kind of exposed. Oh, house wall there, that looks scary. Gold spots of Miss Lou also very awkward here. It's you'll have to TC those two to secure them for later on, and that's obviously not an option given the numbers now. Crossbows coming in for either side here for Miss Lou, so I think Miss Lou has the numbers now, but then again Faraday did great damage here with 15 villager kills. Hey T-Fux, hello, welcome to the chat. T-Fux 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not sure if I can say that too many times, quickly and aloud. Third town center now coming up for T-Fux in the pocket, speaking of chat entrance here, but look at the boom from the opposing pocket there. BK with Felipe in the pocket is really gaining an equal lead of the other pocket here, which could be very significant in the late game. Unlocking Paladin earlier, or well, Cavalier, Paladin, and generally, maybe even Chivalry, to really double up on the numbers before the opponent. Faraday losing the forward armies now, but has 4 ranges to replenish at home and still keeps the aggression going here, venturing close to the goal of Miss Lou. So it's still BK very much on the aggressive side here. Could actually take the hill here, but I think it's better to back off looking at the numbers here, knowing that there's another batch of crossbows in the back here as well. But now there's some aggression from Les Gros on Paganini's side, and just while Paganini is going up to the Imperial Age as well. Doesn't look like Paganini is taking any significant losses though. We'll get to the Imperial Age here and be able to afford Bracer and Chemistry, presumably, with 30 crossbows. But in the Imperial Age, the Mayans crossbows, Archer's line units, are blessed eventually. They cost 30% less, so it's so easy for the Mayans to replenish numbers. However, before those upgrades kick in, Paganini might be forced to take a fight over here against T-Fux's cavalry. Felipe is trying to lure them up to the hill here. That's not going to happen, but a second wave of knights coming in over here as well. Look at the pocket numbers. Felipe has been keeping a consistent cavalry lead for a while now, and also the boom lead, so better pocket situation total. But here comes a TC number 4 for T-Fox, which might help even out the situation between the pockets here. Hill advantage now for T-Fox, but doesn't really give that much of a make that much of a difference when Felipe has decent numbers. Their upgrades are similar as well. If either player had +2 attack, that would be nasty. Oh, look at the Arbalest raids now on the FXS wood line here. Good aggression from Paganini, knowing that his pocket is fine in terms of numbers here. But this is also a nasty, nasty mass of crossbows from Miss Lou here. Let's see, Faraday is also in the castle age here. Their economies are comparable, but Miss Lou, having taken good trades at home against Faraday's armies, is with a massive numbers lead over his opposing pocket here now. Flank, I mean. Defensive tower for Faraday on the gold doesn't really keep the crossbows out. I think even the... No, the tower doesn't outrange the crossbows don't outrange the tower, never mind. Siege and crossbows, but look at the mass. Mangonels, Scorpions shouldn't really work against Britain's crossbows because the range. The Britain's crossbows outrange. Oh, Mangonel shot, Mangonel shot, Mangonel. Oh, lucky there from Bislu to not have the Mangonel get better hits in. Another Mangonel! And Faraday, just like that, he evens out the numbers. He's 30 crossbows to 40 here now. And they seem to almost just be patrolling in here. And just like that, Faraday, with the help of some siege weapons, he cleans up here. What a fight! What a ridiculous fight. And now BK with 20 military lead here. Okay, Arbalest from both sides here now. And certainly Paganini with that earlier Arbalest power spike isn't... looking too great here against the Mayans here. Cavalier, Imperial Age on the way. This is a bad fight for Felipe to take at this point. Because Felipe is going for the Imperial Age and will want as many knights as possible to become Cavaliers. But then again, all of the knights of T-Fox are down as well. So I can't wrap my head around the trades here. These Arbalests of DFX really salvaging the situation here. But with Imperial Age on the way for Felipe, that's going to be at least a 2 or 3 minutes lead to the Imperial Age. Probably more, because if you look at these bars here, that's the food and gold needed to go to Imperial Age. Then again, you need military as well from the pocket. So I think the fact that T-Fox needs to replenish knights numbers is going to delay the Imperial Age even further. Rams pushing here from Paganini. Will we see Cap Ram is in? Yes, it is indeed. Let's have a look at the food count. We're not going to see a Seed Ram anytime soon, but he's assuming the hill with a castle here now to maybe get some trebuchets out as well, and that's not great for the Apex, obviously, with the castle on this crucial hill between the players, and a pocket from BK that just reached the Imperial Age and goes for Cavalier and Plate Barding Armor ASAP here. Missing the resources for Plate Barding Armor, but there it goes. Probably cancel a night or two to be able to afford that. And the pressure on the Mayans flank now seems to be pretty nasty from BK here. We have to mention that on the top side, Miss Lou is back on the aggression as well with a new batch of crossbows here, but Faraday is holding some stone gates and houses here, trying to keep the aggression out, maybe preparing an eventual trade route as well. And now going Imperial Age, okay. So if Faraday can wall up here and get some more crossbows out to get that Arbalest power spike, he'll be in an amazing spot after all against Miss Lou's Castle Age crossbows here. Another fighting from downhill here with Paganini's Arbalest Cavalier on the hill, dealing with the Knights of T-Fox yet again, and cleaning up most of the Arbalests of DFX as well, and I guess that's the GG fight. Faraday holding his side and BK pushing in Imperial Age On the south side here, BK taking the first win. We'll be going to Les Gros first home map, where we'll have yeah, let's just pull up the maps here again. You can see the maps there. Going to Les Gros home map. Les Gros home map. It's actually Les Gros since I'm basically talking English. Trying my best at French. Kind of fascinating to see the eco and fletching and everything here. So similar in the timings. It's like so those players are solid players in the 1800 plus range, and they have their build orders down, obviously. Felipe with an amazing boom here, though, and out booming T-Fux on the other side. Uptimes very comparable, everything within under 10 minutes here, and then the Castle Age timings as well. And in the end, the Imperial Age power spike is what decides the outcome of the game. Namely from Philippe in the pocket, who didn't lose a single villager all game. Very good aggression from BK. Game 2, excuse me, Game 2 on, on 4 lakes here. I want to switch up the colors again for easier distinction. And we have the 1-0 for Faraday's team, which is BK, and Lake Robinson on the other side. So this is 4 lakes. As the name suggests, there are 4 lakes with ridiculous amounts of deep fish here. But this is 3v3, so there's 3 players potentially sharing and or fighting for these deep fish here. It's 225 fish in each of these, so that's going to last you a long time before you need to go into farming. We're now into the drafted sims here, exclamation mark draft for the draft, if you want to have a look at that. And as you can see here, Tifux here is going straight to wood with the first 4 builders as Lithuanians. Why can they do that? Because Lithuanians start with 150 extra food. So if you invest into wood earlier, or instantly with Lithuanians, you will be able to afford a dock almost instantly as well and get a massive fish boom rolling. So Lithuanians, very good civilization for hybrid maps like this. Even full water maps, Lithuanians are decent, but yeah, hybrid maps, there's a particular build order that will let you get to the fish boom almost as early as Persians and Malians could. And that's going to allow you to go for a nice extended scouts play or ridiculous fast castle double sable knights as well. In the pocket, spec commentary, whatever I'm going to pronounce that, maybe I'll stick with blue, but pocket Malay. Honestly, I would have expected Malay flank. Wait, it is flank. Lithuanian's pocket, I'm confused by the colors here, sorry. Lithuanian's pocket, of course, playing the cavalry role, and Malay on the flank here. Malay have 66% faster progression through the ages, so they'll be able to go to the feudal castle and imperial ages at a nice faster speed than any other civ, which means that their fully upgraded arbalists will also benefit from that power spike a lot sooner if played to perfection. To the right hand side we have the Apex2 with the Japanese, also a fully upgraded arbalist civilization. You could go for, they classified as an infantry civ, but they have arbalists. They even have fully upgraded cavalry archers, not that we usually see them in play, but it is an option. The fishing ship work rate for the Japanese is faster, as for the Malay, the fish traps provide 3 times as much food, so they're basically never ending. Nice save here from Spec Commentary here in the blue. Has to send another docking villager, but keeps the first one alive. No Loom yet. Of course, you want to delay Loom as much as possible to make sure you produce villagers and get them working. First hit in for Spec Commentary here, and that means that that is a Scouts fight that the red player will lose. Also docking in the same lake here, so they'll be fighting for naval control here. Paganini with the Cumans. Cumans on the flank, actually. Could still be archers. Cumans don't have a bracer. Or they don't have arbalest either, so long term they'll have to think of something else. But with the food boost from fish booming, and even a feudal age DC, if you want to go extended feudal age, Cumans have an amazing economy and lots of options. Their archery ranges and stables also cost 100 wood instead of 175, so it's very easy to pull off a double or even triple archery range play as the Cumans in the feudal age already. 2 scouts here now from BK to try and try to snipe a fishing ship here. Won't succeed in that. Wait, are they hitting Drew? Are they hitting Drew? Blue! React! Blue! Nightmare start for Spec Commentary here, however, he can't really fight 2 scouts here. Loom is in now, and the weakest one is behind here. Oh no! Another quick one villager goes down, though. And can you keep both these walls up from Scouts aggression? I guess you can alternate between repairs and... No! Oh, that's such a nasty bug there that could hit between 2 palisades like that. That's 2 villagers down for Spec Commentary early on. But that evens out a lot that Malay advantage of faster uptimes, which essentially is equivalent to 3 villagers. 3 villagers production. You can see they're all producing fish here. They're all docked as you should on 4 lakes. The Paganini actually committed to the faraway lake, probably intentional to delay or deny the Malay fish boom over here. 24 population up for Paganini. It's going to be the same for the Malay, but with the faster Malay uptime, as you can see, it's still going to beat the Cumans by 15 seconds or so to the uptime here. But those 2 villagers lost, that's a massive hit to the economy though. It looks to me like the pockets want to go for the scouts here. It's a higher population up for the Lithuanians, but that's due to the slightly larger amount of fishing ships mainly. The villager count seems to be somewhat similar. And now let's see, there's the stable for the Lithuanians. Persians dropping the stable as well. Now Persians also a great pick for 4 legs because of town centers and docks. Not only having twice the hit points of the regular ones, but producing 10% faster in the feudal age, 15% faster in the castle age, and 20% faster in the imperial age. So needless to say, an amazing land and fish boom for Persians on the ages moving forward. Double docks for both red and blue over on this side, and we'll be seeing fire galleys in production from both. It's a lot of fish to contest here, so either player winning this will be at an eco advantage over the other. Doesn't look like the naval situation will be contested elsewhere here, as the scouts are in production both pockets now with a couple scouts out, some spearmen in defense as well, but this is where the aggression is at for the most part now. Men-at-Arms opening for the Japanese actually, so different approach than to the Arabia here, and some good aggression from the FX here. The Japanese men-at-arms, they attack faster, so they're harder to kill. Japanese infantry attack faster, so they have fantastic halberdiers as well. And it looks like they'll succeed in taking out the mining camp here, forcing Felipe to build another one. Not a disaster though. Burmese here for Felipe, which... not sure what the flank idea of Burmese is. But maybe a counterpick to Japanese men-at-arms play, infantry play. Of course, with so many civilizations being drafted, you also need to be on the creative side when it comes down to flank play. And maybe 4 legs isn't a strong map for BK. overall, and nice repair micro there, by the way. So BK will want to save their best flank civs for other maps coming up. Looks like Spec Commentary is taking the numbers lead here, keeping the keeping the humans from claiming water here, and DFX is also claiming water on the other side, denying Felipe the dock over here. So the home map of Lake Robesseur, they're not messing around. They are killing the opponent fish, and should, with that in mind, be establishing a massive economy lead. Look at the fish room of the Lithuanians. T-Fux should be able to go cast age soon here, even with the 9 scouts investment here, and we're only at 15 minutes. So that's going to be an amazing cast age for the Lithuanians. Not able to get inside of Faraday's base unless he goes to the backside ASAP. Alright, so the scouts do get in. Do they have the upgrades? They have the attack upgrade, which means it's easier to take out villagers. Good value from T-Fux here. 4 villagers killed. Spearman in defense for Faraday, yes, but with the hill advantage and the forging in for T-Fux is able to snipe that stray Spearman of Faraday and get some serious idle time and kills in here. 3 villagers lost for Faraday. He's behind in economy. By some bits here. He doesn't even have double bit in, actually. I must have forgot about that. But takes villager losses here, has roughly the equivalent numbers of fishing ships, but will also need to go to the castle age here, and the gold situation is far behind in terms of the castle age progression here for Faraday. He's gone into a few farms to extend the food economy. I'm not sure if that's strictly necessary with the fish eco going on. 1 galley out here, that's just to be able to stop any enemy from docking on this side. That's just something you see the high-level players do to stop sneak docking, like in the corner here. 3 docks for Paganini. As he got the demolition rafts in the making. Might lose this dock, but will be completing the demo. Spec Commentary, however, has split up the galleys here. Oh, he's trying to jabate. He's gonna get a good hit now. No, he gets only 1. So an extended naval fight on the left hand side. On the right hand side, DFX has actually 2 docks up now. Has successfully taken out all of the Burmese fish, and Felipe now, yeah, well, technically still has the fish, but obviously isn't bringing in any resources. He's actually playing the Burmese archers here, which is funny. Burmese, they don't get any of the castle or Imperial Age defense upgrades, so and they also don't get arbalests, so they are among the worst archers line units in the game. Only maybe beaten by Bulgarians and Spanish not having crossbows, but in exchange these civilizations actually get better defense upgrades. But you gotta do what you gotta do to try and deal some damage. BK definitely behind here. Look at the eco situation and military, and the fact that they're all going to the castle age here, or are in the castle age already. Castle age is in. Not sure if we're going to see the War Galley upgrade or not. Maybe not from blue here. Has the numbers advantage. There it comes. War Galley does come in. As Paganini has transitioned into some land aggression here. Something that Spec Commentary doesn't have a strict response to. But a couple of pocket knights from T-Fux evens out that situation. 9 knights already out, with only 2 from Faraday on the other side. Persians, docks and TC Stowe should be able to catch up with the Lithuanians eventually, but all in all, Lake Roveseur still with a convincing builder lead here over the opposing team. So, all players approaching Castle HE, Paganini furthest behind the wall, but the Humans is dropping the second TC now, so he'll be able to compensate eventually for the fact that the dock investment has not paid off. He's still making fishing ships, committed to take the water back from the Malay here, and might not be a bad play if he's able to do just that. Now, T-Fox, no relics yet, but with a massive army moving into the Cuban side here, where the red player doesn't really have much to respond to this. Will risk losing a lot of villagers here now. 48 is the eco units count compared to the 45 of spec commentary, so they are somewhat even. But with these raids and the fact that there's only one player for being Faraday here to support, this could be very nasty for Paganini in the red. He's scrambling builders towards the second village TC being built over there in Castle H. On the way as well, of course. But 15 knights to 10 here. No production currently from T-Fox. So, Japanese crossbows against Burmese. I mean, for the Japanese, it's a no-brainer to get that second armor nice and early, because you'll be out matching the Burmese in the upgrades once you get that. They'll be with worse defense, of course. The first and fully upgraded Burmese crossbows, actually. Look at this. It looks like Felipe wants to help out on the opposing flank side. That's a long travel for the crossbows, but could help remedy the situation. As Faraday, yet again, is subject to raids at home with Malay crossbows to support. The fire ships will take out the last dock of Paganini, so Paganini will now have to consider docking up north instead, where it's safe to go for the fish economy. Each workshop defense from Paradise, but there's a limit to how much that could accomplish with the amount of pocket cavalry out on the move. 74 to 58, so this time around it's a switch up from the Arabia game. T-Fox with 20 more or so eco units than the Persians, now almost matching the upgrades as well, plus 2 attack for the Persians, probably to compensate for just in case the Lithuanian player snags some relics. He has 2 relics actually by now, so once T-Fox actually has better upgrades now with the plus 3 attack on the knights compared to the soon to be plus 2 for Paradise. More knights hopping in there, finds an opening in the walls as well, so Paradise won't be able to do any aggression at all here. We'll have to stay on the defensive side, and have to say he's doing decently here. That's a choke point that doesn't allow the Persians cavalry to move out, but crossbows firing from behind, getting some hit points off, and that extra +1 attack for the Lithuanian knights could make a big difference here as well. The Apex is joining in here for the aggression as well, and that's a 3 vs 1 on the pocket, crippling the pocket like the previous game, and a GG fight with BK now 40 villagers behind, snowballing out of control there. Now, after a look at the stats, we'll go to the third game, which will be BK's first home map. And BK seems to enjoy naval play, just not Four Lakes, apparently, as they have Team Islands, Mediterranean, and Migration as their picks. Well, the Genius Boom coming out on top there. Better economy overall. Probably didn't lose a single villager. Where can you actually see that? Society score? Yeah, never got threatened at home. And we'll have a look at the 8 PM chart just for the fun of it as well. Moving into game 3, and it's going to be a map involving some kind of naval action, which could either go into a stalemate or or uh, a very early ending, depending. Here we go with Team Islands. All right. Some fascinating picks for Team Islands here. As we have Faraday with the Bohemian's Pocket for Team Islands. Maybe he's the one who's going to do the landing play. He's going to backdock and then go for a landing with castles and Hussite wagons. It strikes me as something powerful on Team Islands because Hussite wagons, once in mass, are so hard to stop. To the right side, Paganini with the more conventional Portuguese for Team Islands here. It's got cheaper warships and lots of upgrades directly or indirectly benefiting naval play. So, not to mention Fate or yes, when all of the resources run out. Although in team games you have trade to compensate for that as well with gold income. Should it come to a woodless map in the end. Felipe with a Khmer could be a landing play as well. Khmer do get Bracer. They're not famous for their naval armies, but they have some options for sure. Not at all a bad pick for Team Islands, but more often than not fast uptimes with some kind of landing play, as you don't need a barracks to produce either a range or you don't need a prerequisite building to build another one, so you could go straight for the archers, for example. Miss Lou here with the Vikings, another solid contender for Team Islands play. However, the longboats, that all-powerful Vikings unique boat, gets nicely countered by Portuguese unique unit, the Caravel, so they complement each other, but fortunately for the Vikings, the Portuguese is on the other side, so that's a long travel to get to deal with the longboats. In the pocket, we have Sicilians for T-Pucks, could also be a landing play. Sicilians used to get an instant transport ship, which was admittedly kind of a stupid bonus, but they still get a half-price transport ship, the first one, and it has +5 line of sight, so it still favors landing play with the Sicilians. That also builds town centers and castles 100% faster. You'll sometimes see Sicilians feudal age landings on Team Islands with donjon rushes and eventually castles and just wreaking havoc on land. Finally, spec commentary here with the Malians. Lacking Bracer, which is a bit of a concern if the game goes long on Team Islands and there's naval play at work. But disregarding that, Malians can get their dock up nice and early, get the fishing rolling because they save wood on each and every building they make. So in the early game they can of course challenge the naval battles as well and more easily produce units with their wood discount. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because the Dark Age on Team Islands, there's just not going to be any significant aggression. We'll have a look for transport ships here, which indeed is the case for Felipe with the Khmer here, and that's the one we'll be following now. Oh, slow down! Here we go. Also a transport for the Malians, 2 wielders and a scout. That's going to be the case for both, as we see here. No loom for either of them. Loom is in for spec commentary actually. But yeah, both are playing the landings, so this will be chaos. Put as simply as that. And we'll see who has the more successful one here. I kind of put my bet on Khmer, because this is BK's home map, and because Khmer don't need any prerequisite building to get their army protections buildings up. The barracks goes up at home for spec commentary. It's nice to have because then you could make defensive spearmen if the opponent's team go for a scouts play, like is the case for the Malians here. Stable and range going up here. Well, while Felipe here goes for the stable to begin with and gets spotted, of course. Did Red spot the landing? He sees the scout, so he has to suspect some kind of landing here, but he hasn't actually seen it. So this could be rough on Paganini's economy if this landing doesn't get scouted. It's actually a double landing from Beko. It's Paganini with the scouts with the Portuguese, probably going to make the archers as well. But since he's landing himself, he only has the barracks at home to hold off the aggression here. And will be able to make scouts, of course, but not so much more than that. Mislu using galleys to deal with the landing builders here. It's important to deal with the landing builders once you spot them, because then they can't produce more buildings. And the first landing does seem to be a failure here for Felipe. Don't see any scouts. One scout out actually. But the aggression on the other side. Let's see the scouts and whatever the follow-up for Paganini here. Probably preoccupied at home with the forward tower. Fantastic tower by spec commentary here, denying the main gold and a woodland here. But also a preemptive tower by Paganini to keep the other golden woodland safe. And here I was expecting Portuguese to play water, but BK will have none of it. They're going full on with the landings. And in the meantime, Faraday is walling off in the pocket, dropping the blacksmith, and has the stable up already, so he'll be aiming for the Castle Age, I think. Yep, there's the Castle Age click. So Mislu, planning to play the Vikings galleys here, has to commit to some land defenses here. Will force most, if not all, of the villagers to fight the aggressive scouts here. That's a lot of idle time, and some villagers going down as well. Good aggression on both sides now for BK as Paganini drops 2 ranges on the shoreline here, something that spec commentary hasn't scouted yet, but Tifux will find it. Stable is about to be walled in, but yeah, the spearmen helping out nicely in the fight there. They're gonna go down. And now pulling the landing villager away. Is he going to pull it home or just somewhere else to land? Probably just land somewhere else again. So this is a way to deal with landing production buildings. You just send the villager to wall it in, and so that the scouts can't exit the stable. What is Karga? It's a custom map made by Tech Chariot, which was in the map pool for this tournament. They spell it wrong though, but it's Karga. K-H. Karga. Faraday with some Bohemian scouts here now, probably among the worst scouts in the game, lacking bloodlines, and I'm not sure about husbandry, but lacking lots of... I think they have a husbandry, but still. Using the scouts to clean up spec commentary's armies here, so Teal's landing actually only managed to kill 1 builder so far. But you could say the same about Paganini's forward here, has some archers in the queue, but not enough here to succeed. I think also walling in the buildings and keeping scouts on the remaining foundations here as well. Guess in theory you could ungarrison the archers here. Now they pop out. Does he have fletching though? No fletching. Archers, no fletching as said, so they'll have a tough time sniping even villagers here. Looks like Paganini wants to salvage some of the No, wait, that's steel transport ship. Scratch that. He's actually transporting the oil scouts over now because the crisis has been averted. Landing has been dealt with. Only one commerce scout left on land for BK. Admittedly, going Castle Age here. So that opens up for new possibilities. But now the green scouts moving over to the opponent's side. So T-Fox will be... cleaning up some of the defenses of Faraday here, trying to free up Paganini's economy. Bohemians Knights, you don't see that every day. Karga means raven in Turkish. Maybe Tech Chariot knows that, I don't know, we have to ask him. Another landing! So Paganini doesn't give up on the landing aggression here. 2 more ranges, still in the feudal age, just committed to making life real awkward for the opposing parties here. Mislu with the Vikings still in the feudal age as well, but he's the one committing to the naval aggression here and taking out enemy fish, so that's why he's still in the feudal age. If you commit to the mass of galleys in the feudal age, obviously your age up will be delayed. Here's another landing from the Khmer player as well. Will be spotted, or is spotted by blue here. But I don't think the galleys can rage that builder, so that's a good stable placement there for Felipe. Some fire galleys out for Paganini as well, and this is stabilizing at home. I think they're cleaning up the Malians landing here, but another... what a mess of a game, this Team Islands. Yeah, some production buildings go down, and with the mobility of the knights, you will probably be able to scout the re-landing. Fuel age still for Paganini here, but now with the mass of archers, no upgrades whatsoever. I think the idea is just to allow the team's pocket and maybe even the Khmer player to boom a bit. As new walls go up on the stable here, where the knights pop out, and T-Fox will use his own knights to limit the damage of the Khmer landing. Fantastic awareness of the players here to spot the landings going up. I guess Felipe managed to get some knights out before eventually losing or deleting the stable here. He may even have deleted the stable to let the knights out actually, which is a fascinating play. Keeping Bislu busy here. Bislu at 34 villagers. BK, Le Grovesseur, they have the villagers lead or equal lead, having their fish more or less intact. Here comes T-Fox with some naval as well to deal with Paganini's few warrior ships here. They haven't technically spotted the ranges here, but they've seen the landing coming their way. Now Spec Commentary cleaning up feudal age archers with the camels. So Khmer Knights versus Sicilians Knights here. +2 defense on the Khmer Knights, only +2 and +1 for the Sicilians. So better Knights for the Sicilians. Vikings, Pikemen joining in here, and Spearmen, and Spearmen. Vikings seem to have 20% more hit points, so they are tankier than your generic Spearmen. As the landing builder tries another building here, quick wall attempt, doesn't succeed. And Felipe will have to land yet another villager. And that's not going to be easy now with the Vikings player in the Castle Age and with war galleys guarding the shorelines. Big Tuta, welcome and thank you for the raid. This is the final of Privy Tier Fighters, my team game tournament across different ELOs that started in September, but for several reasons dried out. And now we have the 1800 to 2000 final to close out this series. It's Team Islands, it's the third game in, and it's 1-1 currently, so this is Les Gros Besseurs. Sorry, this is BK's home map. BK won the first game, playing Lake Hobbiser's 4 Lakes as the second, and now for BK's first home map being Team Islands. Crossbows of Paganini still getting some value here, delaying maybe spec commentaries can and TC a little bit here. 3 ranges total is it on land here, and obviously Camels of the Malians won't cut it here to deal with the crossbow aggression. Maybe not even the Sicilians Knights. If Paganini can somehow collect his crossbow masses here, then he'll be able to deal with the Knights flood of the Sicilians. Carvini coming in for Faraday, so he's going to play the... well, it could be a landing actually, it could be for a landing, but he's dropping docks on the front side, lots of them. No castle to protect them though, but since the Vikings galleys are spread out everywhere, the Bohemians player should be able to do nice damage here. Bohemians get chemistry in Castle Age as well, so that actually, maybe that's the reasoning for Bohemians on Team Islands, that they can challenge water with early chemistry to outmatch other Castle Age naval armies. Diffux cleans up the crossbows of Paganini on land as BK scramble to win back water. Felipe going Imperial Age, whatever that's going to give. Don't think it's going to be a naval investment, is it? Yeah, we'll see what the Imperial Age brings for Felipe. You see the landings have paid off, especially for BK here with the Eco KDs, but they've of course been taken off focus on land as well with their the landing of Spec Commentary, the only landing, so one landing, single landing versus double landing from BK. Most of the armies of Lake Hobbiser now, or all of the armies except for the naval ones, on land here to clean up the remaining landing presence, and eventually they could of course transport over to try and do some damage on the opposing side. Let's see the town center count here for the players. 433, that's 10, and 8 more TCs overall for Lake Hobbiser. Tifux with 5 TCs could also, once he gets castle up, could go first Crusade if he needs a panic response to some kind of landing. And speaking of landings, the landing presence of Paganini is being completely dealt with now. Now a Bohemian's castle going up here, and some transport ship bringing over some purple villagers again. So Felipe will do a landing with... oh, that's close to the shoreline, but now there's naval armies from Faraday to remedy that. Let's have a quick look and see if Faraday actually has the chemistry as well. He has ballistics, he has war galley, he has chemistry. He got the Castle Age chemistry. So if you look at the stats here, Faraday should have one more attack, and also one more pierce attack because of the chemistry of Bohemians. They should both have defense from Karin. Oh wait, Miss Loot doesn't have careening, so Faraday has superior war galleys by far though over the Vikings. However, the Vikings player has the numbers, something that shouldn't be underestimated. We see T-Fux making some investments on water as well, but now it's going to be Bohemians' domination on water. With careening in, the transport ship can carry twice as many villagers as well, so we might see some more landing efforts here from the opponents. Whatever happened to the forward landing of Felipe, it seems to have been failing yet again here. So that got spotted somehow. And there's Imperial Age for the Sicilians as well. getting shipwright. That's affecting the production speed and cost of the ships, I think. I'm not too familiar with the naval upgrades. I don't play a lot of water maps. But looking at the upgrades coming in here for Tifux definitely wants to help his team get back on water here. Getting fast fire ship. That's going to be the kryptonite of Faraday's Bohemians fire galleys here. Because fast fire ships, once they get close to war galleys, they'll melt them. And with careening in, they have a pretty darn decent upgrade. Look at this, look at that. Look at how quickly they kill them. 3 more coming out here. Forward docks from Tifux. And it's only, or mainly, 1 player committing to a landing now. Cavaliers on land for Felipe. They will be transported over to raid on the opponent side, I think. Seeing as the landing buildings didn't work out. But both teams seem to have been stabilizing on land here now. They're probably starting to put up markets for trade as well. This could be a long one. Fast fire ships. Really doing work here now. They have galleon now for Faraday, but still, as if the fast fire ships get close enough, they'll deal with the galleons as well. Good work of Faraday here to keep most of the armies alive. He's scrambled up a couple of castles on the shoreline as well. Bohemians get bonus damage to their gunpowder units. That applies to cannon galleons as well. So, and since chemistry is in, Faraday could go straight for the cannon galleons here. I assume that Bohemians get those. I haven't checked, but I assume they do get it. And in which case you could be able to take out docks and castles, if any, of Lake Robinson from the waters. A little bit of a sneak landing here with the Cavaliers, but the Camels and Cavalier of Team Lake Robinson, they clean up that just fine. The army situation is well ahead for Lake Robinson. Look at this naval armies here. Definitely need more than 1 player of BK to commit to water here if they're going to survive this aggression. Of course, you can camp underneath Castle Fire, but once they get some cannon galleons mixed in for Lake Robinson here, these castles can be dealt with as well. Yeah, I think Paganini wants to get back on water now. He's dropping a castle on the shoreline over here. He's going to drop some docks and start producing. It's probably going to be galleons for yeah, demolition ships. That makes sense actually against the fast fire ships. If Paganini can get to heavy demo as he is researching currently, he could spam some of those underneath the castle fire here and get some juicy demolition shots in on the ship's masses here. Looks like Faraday is losing the naval investment. So many docks all the way here. And as I spoke about getting back on water for another player of BK, and Faraday is definitely in the process of doing so. Lots of docks along the shoreline. Portuguese get cheaper naval units as well. And they're desperate to control the edges of their maps from raids in the trade and in their economies and whatnot here. Lots of castles going up here, and I'd say BK has better defenses for the trade line than is the case for Lake Robinson for now. And there's a lot of galleons for Paganini, and he could, looks like he got a demo hit. Imagine that demo of the camels here, that could be amazing. You'd take out a lot of heavy camels with a demo. Now it's Lake Robinson, still 40 military lead here. And the fast fire ships, they're not allowed to get close enough to the galleons here to make too much of a difference. Demo ships getting focused out. So much micromanagement at work here. With naval maps, they're no joke. They're real stressful to play with all of the aggression going on. And the Cavaliers here... Wait, what's that? Faraday now deleting units on land for pop space on... Where, actually? He needs pop space for ships, I guess. He's massing up the galleons. Dry dock coming in for Paganini, going to affect the ship's production as well. Looks like chemistry is in, and even that Portuguese unique technology, which I don't remember the name of, that also benefits the attack and the is it range, attack and defense of the ships maybe, or movement rate. So many ships here, and neither team giving in, obviously. Like, obviously, they have a massive economy lead here. They're getting coinage for potential sling here to sling each other. Sling was banned until Imperial Age. So that's why you haven't seen a lot of sling until now. They have a better trade running as well, so they should have an easier time replenishing units on land, but they... or maybe falling behind in the naval battle because of their land armies at this point. Not seeing any significant landing. A little bit of raiding here from Tifux, so the trade line of BK or BK still not up here. Caravels now coming into play, cannon galleons as well, but the overall military situation... Overall population well ahead for Lake Overseur here, as they have cannon galleons out as well, dealing with the Bohemians castle. And if the castles on the shoreline goes down, that means potential for new landing parties. Hoardings coming in for Tifux with the castles as well, going to benefit the Sicilian castles. There's just action everywhere here now. Felipe is over here, has managed to land a party of Cavalier, but the Malians Cavals deal nicely with that, so that's probably a reason for having Malians on naval maps like this, to have a good response to cavalry raids. Castle stays up, but for how long? For Faraday down here. The galleons close to the cannon galleons, elite cannon galleon in fact, to help defend here. Now fireship in front to soak some fire, allowing Miss Lou to get some great hits in on the Portuguese naval armies here. And the castle is down, which means that the cannon galleons can start taking out docks as well. That shouldn't take them too many hits. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots maybe enough to take out one dock. While in the back there's some stray units fighting as well. These guys are just all over the place, both of them. Lots of action all around the map here, but I have to say at this point it looks like Lake Robeseur are the ones dominating here. And it's actually their away map there with massive equal lead here. Look at the trade numbers. Probably fighting very close to PopCap here now, and they're also keeping a military lead. If they win the naval wars here yet again, it's going to be near impossible for BK to get any landing and counter-aggression in that. That could be a GG situation. We'll have to keep a look at the wood count as well, but the wood isn't going to run out anytime soon. More wood on the team game maps, of course. Still 126 military to 103, but what's the ships count here? It's mainly the Vikings here with the galleons. In a situation without Portuguese on the map, you'd definitely see longbows here. But since the Portuguese have access to caravel, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go into longboats here, because the caravels more or less hard counter them. So they're both playing the galleons here, in which case the Portuguese galleons are slightly better, are they? Or is it similar? No, they seem to have the similar stats here, so maybe the unique technology for the Portuguese isn't in after all. Carac is what gives the Portuguese ships more armor, and I don't see any difference here. That's the unique technology anyway. As Miss Lou is pushing further, but did they scout the backside? Do they know that there are lots of docks going up in the back here? Yeah, maybe they see the Bohemians redocking in the back here. Love how you have some war or galleons camping the trade route over here as well. Really denying trade of BK. Look at the trade numbers for the Malians. Maybe Spec Commentary just wants to... maybe it's going to sling teammates. He's receiving sling actually, but could definitely be slinging to the others with that kind of trade income should they need it, because Spec Commentary only defending on land here, making sure that the trade route goes somewhat protected. I guess these guys are on follow or patrol mode to pick up any raiding units in the trade line here, but that's not an issue. Some galleons over here again for Miss Lou, going to make sure that the BK can't get trade in, and now the score is vastly ahead for Lake Robespierre here. It is the home map of BK, but they're not going to give in. Dungeons on the shoreline now for T-Fux. And has these sergeants building them, and with the trade income and the potential of sling here, this you could make buy stone and make dungeons and castles forever here. I'm not quite sure if I understand the... I guess it's the dungeons to be able to build new dungeons with a sergeant, that's the reasoning here. Otherwise I'd send like 8 villagers and spam castles instead. But it's certainly providing some protection for the Malians teammate to get a landing happening here. They could transport over units at this point as well, because they seem perfectly safe at home, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're sending over their camels so that the Khmer cavalry will be less of a concern. Look at all these heavy camel riders of Spec Commentary here to chase down the Khmer Cavalier. BK 116 villagers behind, almost 200 total population behind, but they keep fighting. They try to get back on water down here, and they are succeeding in a little bit of counter aggression here. But in the end, Lake Robespierre take another one into 2-1 here, and we will see the second home map of BK here, as the GD is called. Farimba in for the Camels fairly early in the Imperial Age here, so certainly benefiting their overall stats. Basically dominating on the water there, galleys into war galleys, very late castle age as a result of the massive mass of feudal galleys, but did take sole responsibility for water for a long time there, and bought Lake Robespierre enough time to defend at home and get back on water and just close out the game. Fantastic move for the Sicilians as well. They commit to land defense and later on back with the fast fire ships on water, which also made a huge difference against the early chemistry galleons of, or war galleys rather, of Faraday. Did we see the trade benefit here somewhere as well? That's usually on trade profit. Yeah, so it didn't kick in too crazy. But 58 trade units or something in the end for the Malians player, which is pretty crazy. Make Sergeant because they can make dungeon and Orange got some help. Yeah, makes sense. Ah, yeah. They deal with infantry units as well and do dungeons. It makes sense indeed. It's not taking up builder time to build dungeons when you have sergeants. Right. Next game, going to be Migration, or... what was the other one again? Migration or Mediterranean. Game 4, indeed on Migration, so we might see something similar here, but the middle island will could play an important role here as well. Depends on how the early naval battles go for either party here. So Migration it is, Let's have a look at the civilizations. I need to set the team names again. BK got the first, Lake Robeseux got the next few, so 2-1 for Lake Robeseux. And let's go into the game. Left side, Melo with the Saracens here. Saracens, they have faster firing galleys, so they have a naval bonus in that regard. So they have their market, which only costs 75 wood, and better market rates overall to trade resources at their discretion. Their archers also deal bonus damage to buildings, which could come into play, or actually the team bonus of Saracens is that archers deal bonus damage to structures. So that could become benefit. Whoa! That's an interesting middle island generation here. It's actually fairly easy for some of the sides to land in the middle here. I've never seen that to migration. It's usually cut off like here and like here. So that makes the landing actually somewhat easier, unless some smarty pants walls up here to to stop that access from being as easy. I doubt that will happen. Tifux with the Italians pocket here. 15% discount to the researching the next age up. Always going to benefit the power spikes of archers play or galleys, fire galleys play. Also from the castle they get Genoese crossbowmen, so they can deal nicely with opponent cavalry in that regard. Finally, Bislu with the Berbers here. On land maps, Berbers shine with their cheaper Castle Age cavalry, the knights and camels and all that jazz. They cost 15% less in the Castle Age and 20% less in the Imperial Age. Their unique unit, the Camel Archer, is a counter unit, best counter unit in the game against cavalry archers. And since both Koreans war wagons and Spanish conquistadors have cavalry armor class, or at least the war wagons do, cavalry archer armor, then yeah, I think the conks do as well. Then cavalry archers could be a decent counter to both of the unique units here. Berbers, villagers, and ships also move faster, which makes it easier to dodge fight on water when you're playing the galleys or whatever your plan might be. Clark with the Aztecs here for BK. Probably going to mainly play the middle island. I don't know, Eagle Raids, Arbalists, though without tumbling. Aztecs not exactly famous for their naval capabilities. Fantastic monks, which could probably come in handy against, for example, yeah, I don't know what. Saracens Mamluks. Yeah, the Aztecs monks. Aztecs get more gold from relics, so you'll want to claim the relics in the middle, I guess. And you can get more hit points per monastery upgrade for the monks as well. Faraday with the Spanish pocket here. Also not the most common naval map, but this is technically kind of a hybrid. That's the middle area will play the big role in the very late game here. So Spanish conquistadors comes to mind for land control here. And they also have access to paladins and an absolute full blacksmith for potential upgrades. Funnily enough, Lake Robeseux, they have all of the blacksmith techs for all their ships. While there are some holes on BK's side. Aztecs, obviously no cavalry upgrades. Finally, Paganini with the Koreans. Koreans get the full archers line upgrades, and the archers get the armor instantly as well, which indirectly made the war wagons a lot stronger from the castle, because you don't need to get the armor. And yeah, when it comes to the middle land, if you get to a mass of war wagons here with the Koreans, that's going to be very tough to stop. But as mentioned, the Berber cavalry archers might prove a decent counter to that. Let's speed it up a little bit and see what the feudal age will bring us. I see a 23 or 22, I think it was 23 pop up here for Paganini. Going to open with the galleys on the flank side here. Did not scout the enemy side, but obviously it's going to be on this side. So the feudal ages are coming in here. Double dock galley production from Mislu, and I think this one is going to make galleys as well, so it's about to become triple dock galleys for the blue player. In the pockets, they're mainly just fishing, could be more fast castle style playing here from both pockets. Just doubling up on the fish, while it will be the flank's responsibility to take some fights on water. Fire galleys for Clark with the Aztecs. While, ooh, that seems a bit risky against the Berbers galleys actually, because Berbers galleys move faster. They'll have an even easier time dodging fights against fire galleys than generic galleys do with their hit and run. We'll maybe lose one pop here. Nope, no patrol. And fire galleys for Paganini as well, actually. So I thought migration was more of an open, straight galleys map, but I might be wrong here. And fire galleys against the Saracens' faster galleys is also going to be a bit of concern. Looks like Clark will be losing the first few. Oh, he's pulling them away. Will he actually be able to? I don't think he can escape the Berbers galleys though. Let's see here, 6 fire galleys against 8 galleys. I mean, of course, as soon as the fire galleys get close enough, they'll be able to deal with the galleys, but these are Berbers galleys, they move faster, so they have a really tough time focusing them down, unless they can force them into a choke point somehow, but there aren't really a lot of choke points here. So big naval fights on either side. Paganini is going to chase some of the fish of Tifix, or at the very least idle them, which is a big deal when going fast castle and you want to benefit from that that food economy from the fish. It's very important for the fast castle pockets here, both of them, to make sure that their fish stay alive, and the aggression of BK is doing exactly that. The pocket fish of Faraday is not being hit at all, and he has 10 fishing ships now, bringing in resources at will, and he's preparing the transport ship to go into the middle, or may already have done so, where he will drop town centers and claim the middle area, scout a bit as well, maybe as well. Farigal is catching up. Good fight against Mello here. I think he got the fishing ship in the process as well. While on the right hand side, the Berbers galleys are hitting and running like crazy against the fire galleys of the Aztecs, but still, Clark is able to keep the galleys away. Hello, Ryder. So this is something you often will see players doing when they have the galleys and they aren't able to take justifiable great fights against the enemy masses. They'll focus on the fish and really diminish that food income, because that delays any progression to the next stage. Fire Galley is catching up, but again, that Berber speed is working wonders for Mislu here. And it's a feudal age unit, so obviously they don't have any ballistics to benefit their arrow fire. It will be a little bit on the inaccurate side. T-Fox has gone into some fire galleys here as well, and matching Paganini's numbers at least over here, and it's in the castle age, so the galley... Ooh, it's fast imp! Wow! Interesting. Maybe the fishing com was so good for the Italians fish pool that you can just... I mean, Italians fishing ships, they are 15% cheaper, or some such, so they can go into the Imperial Age license. Why don't people make demos more often? Because galleys will very easily snipe them from a distance, and yeah, exactly, galleys shoot them from a distance, and you will never get to the ships with demos if there are galleys. But in the Imperial Age, when you have fast fire ship, it's a different story, because it will be tougher to snipe the heavy demolition ships, but before Imperial Age, it's not easy. It's obviously very good against fire galleys, but both sides here has galleys out as well, and they will spot the demos and snipe them before they can get hit, and then it's just a waste of resources for the demolition ships. So, Imperial Age, just 1 minute away for T-Fux here. That's amazing. Means that the middle positioning on Paradise here, if T-Fux is able to get the castle up in the middle, will be dominating. And being the Italians here, you could go for the... Actually, he already has the fire galleys, fire ships, I mean, so you could actually get fast fire ship here and really, really clean up any naval aggression. But this difference as Chinese, yeah, I have never seen Chinese on water map, I think. Could be. He is going for the fast fire ships. Fast fire ships. And now trying to establish some middle presence as well, but the conquistadors are here to stop that, which is the absolute idea behind the Spanish here, to deny enemy expansion to the middle with the mobility of the unique unit. All 3 players of BK in the middle now, so if they lose their home islands, that's not necessarily the biggest deal, except they will lose access to a lot of economy, not being able to transport them out. Still galleys for Miss Lu here, but War Galley just about to kick in. There it is. Ballistics coming in as well, and early ballistics for the Berbers galleys here. And they'll take their responsibility against the Aztecs fire ships here. I don't even know if Aztecs gets careening, but it's not in yet for the fire ships, if that's the key. And Chinese definitely better on land maps here. Turtle ship or Spanish cannon galleon, what's better? Probably Spanish cannon galleons shred buildings much more efficiently than the turtle ships, but turtle ships would probably kill Spanish cannon galleons quickly as well. I don't know, never seen that in practice. War galleys being scrambled here to keep the conquistadors away, and finally Mello will be able to establish a middle presence. But look at BK's situation in the middle here now. They're controlling, they've outposted up their vision of almost the whole middle here. Only time I used it is in that campaign mission. I don't know about campaign, I never played a single campaign in Age of Empires, so no idea what you're talking about. So this is a peculiar situation here. There's a little bit of extending to the middle for Le Grovesseur as well. They keep an eco lead now, having claimed and maybe in a sense won waters. A little bit of fish going down here though, so that's bad news for T-Fux here. But the middle more or less belongs to BK at this point. They're all in the castle age. T-Fux is... he found this narrow middle placement here, so he found some land presence after all. And actually a castle here, it's going to cover a lot of docks around it if he wants to go for some water here. For some docks around here. Battles of Conquerors, okay. So Berbers, galleys now dominating the Aztecs over here. Aztecs' strength's not really naval play. Does Italians get heat on the shot? I have no idea. But they are a naval civ, so I would strongly suppose they do. They have like all of the naval upgrades going for them. Ooh, some conquistadors going down to galley fire, or yeah, galley fire here, war galley fire, and a castle as well. Spanish, they build their castle more quickly. This is a very nice castle to neglect any further expansion from Miss Lu on this side. I don't think Miss Lu can stop that. It's just far enough in to stop the war galleys from denying this castle. Clark with the defensive castle on the home island actually, and is basically to preserve the remaining economy of the starting island. Has some presence in the middle though. The Saracens' castle is up, but towers from Paganini, who claim land space here and prevent Mello from further expanding. So much middle control for BK here. They're really playing their home map nicely here after having, in a sense, lost water. Can the Conquistadors, they can severely delay this castle. I don't think they can stop it, but for Conquistadors, they one-shot villagers easily. And now the tower from Paganini. Okay, maybe they do stop it. And once either player or BK gets to the Imperial Age as well, they'll be able to get trebuchets out and deal with any castles of Les Robesseurs. We have this land presence down here, kind of, for T-Fux. And Blue joining in as well. But now Stonewall from Faraday on either side here. If he completes them, that's going to stop any land units from entering area. And it will be dangerous anyway if there are demos on the field to send land units along this shoreline here. I would say Japanese get the best towers, to be honest, with the Yasama upgrade. But I don't have a good answer for that. It's also nice with the power spike of guard towers and keeps for the Koreans. Another castle. Trebuchet is coming out as well. That should quickly deal with the guard towers here of the Koreans. So Imperial Age paying off for sure for the Les Robesseurs team here. Clark going Imperial Age and fortifying the middle with the castle. As some more expansion is happening here from Les Robesseurs on the middle south of the island. Oh, will the castle foundation go down though? That's a lot of stone lost for Mello if he doesn't delete it in time. Nope, didn't delete it. So that's a lot of wasted stone for the teal player. So naval situation well in control for Les Robesseurs here. They are ahead in population, but a lot of that is naval military. Demolition ship is out as well. The guard towers of Paganini will be focused down here. But now with a castle up for the Aztecs player just about to reach Imp, and with some monks out to heal the Conquistadors, I guess, and defend as well. Green is making cannon galleons, which will deal with the castles from the shoreline, yeah. Are they elite even? No, just cannon galleons. And Paganini committing to towers again, as the TC might or might not go down here. Will the guard tower provide enough defense here? Even another tower going up here. Yes, we'll need to have a look at the other side. Trebuchets should be in the making for Clark now. Being in Imperial Age, Clark could sling as well, but there's not really any economy to sling here. And Mamelukes for the teal player gets converted by the Aztec monk, and 3 units to focus down a little bit of the trebuchet, or monk tries to reclaim it even. The Saracens player tries to expand on the map here, but that trebuchet might even snipe out foundation. No. Blue managing to fight off the rams over here, and now finally getting a castle up with the Berbers, which could get cavalagers out to help deal with the Conquistadors and potentially war wagons. No Korean castles yet, though most of the economy of Paganini is also at the home island. That castle very odd. He put it to where his allies castle just died to cannon galleon. Maybe. Now the naval control is paying off for Lake Robespierre. They're slowly gaining middle ground. And cannon galleons shredding whatever they can on land here. Imperial Age is in for the Koreans, so that means the keeps are out. They don't really outrange the cannon galleons, so that is a concern. The cannon galleons will of course deal with those. Conquistadors moving into snipe trebuchets easily here now with that mass of conquistadors. You don't mess around with these gunpowder boys. Monks here to heal the map as well, I presume. And now the Treb's going to focus down the other Saracen's castle here. I guess the Mamelukes are with dealing with conquistadors in mind. Ooh, Genoese crossbowmen mass increasing as well. That is going to be of concern for the conquistadors, but their range is somewhat comparable, I think. So, yeah, one more range for the Genoese, actually. Alright, so conquistadors moving out here. The castle is down. The Aztecs Trebs here will certainly prove helpful in dealing with any land expansion of Lake Robespierre here. The Genoese crossbowmen, big concern for the army currently on the field of BK though. I mean, they can't really kill trebuchets, but they will shred conquistadors. But with the Aztecs player now going into Elite Eagle Warriors, that should deal very nicely with the Genoese crossbowmen. So they're all on point with the reactions and counter-aggressions here. Small numbers of Genoese, a non-issue of course for the Conquistadors, and the Eagles now out is going to make it so much harder to make good use of the Genoese as well. BK massively behind in military, but that's a deceiving number because Lake Robespierre, they still have naval military working for them, and they're making use of it, taking out whatever land economy they can. Pagadin is scrambling to get villagers to the middle island, which is where the significance is currently. Oh, Conquistadors numbers dwindling here now. The Elite Eagle Warriors running in. They don't have Garland Wars, or maybe they have Garland Wars and not the other upgrades. Ah, maybe they do have it. Forging and Garland Wars. Shredding the Genoese, of course. Perfect response to that. However, the Cavaliers of the Berbers should also help in dealing with the Eagles. But then there's the issue of the Conquistadors with the 16 attack and in mass here. So as long as the Eagles are in front, they should be very fine here. Good expansion of Mellow to the side here though with the Saracens. He's now going for the crossbow, eventually going to go into Arbalest here, and not loving that when there's Eagles, lots of Eagles on the field. But we'll see how it plays out. The Eagles don't have full upgrades, but they have the defense, which is the most important. Or castles going up. Lake Robespierre, they are certainly claiming the middle area. Fast Fires denying expansion from Faraday as well. That's why BK, they are really low in the total population. They lost their fish, which is not the case of Lake Robespierre, and they are struggling to transport their economy from the land, which is kind of depleting, into the middle island. Elite Eagles now is plus 6 attack. They're going to have 7, 9 plus 7 attack when the last upgrade is in. Conquistadors still doing some work here, and the land armies, I have to say they're still dominating the land armies of BK. It is still the conquistador commitment of the Spanish, and using that mobility to deny further castles for the Berbers here. Are we going to see a camouflage switch? I think that would be useful here. The unique tech of the Berbers from the castle of Kashba will give all players or all players 30% faster working castles, so that's one to keep in mind. It would make it a lot quicker to get trebuchets out. Really resilient playing of Les Corbusiers on the migration here now. The Eagles running in, but the Cavaliers with yeah, almost full upgrades can deal with them, but there aren't really enough Cavaliers. 9+8 attack, that's a tall one. Is Condottiero better versus the Conk? Yeah, Condottiero deals bonus damage to Conquistadors, so that's definitely an option. We'll on Eagle spam 6 barracks for the Aztecs here. Aztecs barracks work a little bit faster as well. And Hussar now in for Miss Lu. Could it be a gold struggle? Let's see, can they even trade? I mean, Les Corbusiers, they are controlling water, so they don't necessarily need to trade on land. They could trade on water. But they haven't been doing so yet. And BK, tap out, call the DG. And it's a 3-1 for Les Corbusiers now. It is looking very good for Les Corbusiers at this point. With BK having to take 3 games to turn it around. But look at the stats. Took a while for Les Corbusiers to claim the middle, but they were controlling water, which means that any further expansion of the remaining economy of BK from their islands can't really go there, and that means that they will be taking losses until they re-establish that on the middle land. The Italians seem to be dominating. Fast imp, fast fire ships into the middle island. They didn't expect that, but that's a really early Imperial Age for the Italians here. At the same timing of Castle Age for blue and purple here. But with the fish economy of the Italians on this map, and the fact that the Italians go through the ages 15% cheaper, certainly makes it a valid option. So last home map of BK, that should be Mediterranean, so they really enjoy their water hybrid style play. This should be game 5, right? Mediterranean. What did BK do or not do that cost loss? They failed to claim the middle, I guess. They lost water and failed to neglect expansion to the middle island for Les Corbusiers, but that's easier said than done. It's I don't play these naval maps a lot, so I don't have any good answers to that. Another match now for Mediterranean. Let's see if they still have any good hybrid sims left here. Let's start with Paganini on the side here. Lame on. All kinds of laming should be allowed. So they are indeed allowed to lame. Paganini with the Mongols would certainly benefit from laming a boar or 2 if possible, because Mongols collect hunt 40% faster. The fact that they collect food faster is also good for these hybrid style maps where you will be challenging the middle water, because you'll be able to get to the fuel age sooner and start challenging the middle faster. They hard focused heal on middle, and let blue and green come and middle lanes instead. Fish and Big had a time roll. Yeah. Makes sense. Paradise with the Byzantines here. Faster firing fire galleys. More hit points on the buildings. 10, 20, 30, 40% hit points. And cheaper counter units like the skirmishers and camels and spearmen. And finally, Clark with the Goths here. Infamous infantry civilization. If you let the Goths come to the Imperial with a good boom, they are going to have a very much annoying infantry production with their 120% faster working barracks with perfusion, the unique technology. Yeah, their civilization bonus is 20% faster working barracks, and the team bonus, no, the unique technology perfusion gives another 100% speed. So almost instant military production for the Goths. Miss Lou here with the scout out and about. I think he's stealing 2 sheep of Clark here. It's not going to make a huge difference. There are some neutral sheep over here as well, which I think Red will spot. So that's another good boost for them. Clark with the dock in the corner here. That's not very good for the deep fish. It's close to the TC and there's a short fish, so that's probably why it's going there. But the deep fishing is going to be really inefficient here. Miss Lou with the Celts. Celt ETC, as Huang says. We might see something like that here. And but also got something going for them on water, since they collect wood faster as a civilization bonus. Makes it easier to produce fish and naval army. In the pocket we have Mellow as the Huns, not too uncommonly seen on Mediterranean. Huns never need to build houses. Yes, they are set back a bit by the fact that they start with 100 less wood, but they also save wood throughout the game with the fact that they don't need to build any houses. That's some decent wood savings in the early game. And since you never need to build houses, you won't get pop capped until 200 population either, so it makes it a lot easier to focus on aggression and army production, not having to micro builders to build houses. See the walls going up here? Not uncommon on Mediterranean at all, because if you wall off the sides, that makes land aggression a lot more awkward, and you need to control water in order to transport over and do some proper damage. T-Fux here with the Turks to the right hand side. The Turks collect gold a little bit faster. They get Hussar instantly, so it could be good for late game raiding. And their cannon galleons and gunpowder units, they get chemistry instantly, so they'll get to cannon galleon earlier than other civilizations as well, with equal Imperial Age timings. But I think one of the reasons for Turks is the faster income of gold, meaning that it makes it a little bit easier to mass galleys or fire galleys in the early game. And that you have heavy camel to deal with opponent cavalry perhaps, but it's not going to be a lot of cavalry here from the other side. Mongols, unique unit, the Mangudai. It's very annoying to deal with in mass, but if the Turks can get to... Turks could actually use their Hussars to some extent against that as well, because they get one extra Pierce armor from the Dark Age for their scout line unit. That's a early uptime for the Mongols. Double docks here for Paganini, and not really paying much attention to the side. Seeing T-Fux walling up, so he's not stressing his own walls for the time being. Looks like a third dock will be going up as well, to really take some responsibility for water here. Double docks for Faraday as well, making fire galleys. Oh, there's a landing. Mellow here with the Huns landing. Scout and 2 builders straight on the landing aggression, like they did on the Team Islands. Oh, but that's visible from the dock from Faraday. He's going to see the scout now, and probably realize that since they've walled the sides, this was indeed a landing. But the stable goes up, and this is some early land aggression for Mellow here, while BK are opting for naval domination. So, stable range for Mellow here, not booming at all in the pocket, aside from maybe Fish Boom here if they're able to hold water. But certainly going to force a reaction of the Byzantines and scouts and archers against Byzantines. That's something that Faraday should be able to hold with the cheaper counter units here. More scouts out, double ranges as well. Massive, massive feudal aggression, which the Hunts can do with their wood savings and never needing houses. This is going to be a pickle for Faraday to deal with the archers already out. He'll need to make these skirmishes as well, and if he had any plans whatsoever about some kind of fast castle shenanigans here, that is getting stopped efficiently by the land aggression of Mellow here. Landing aggression, in fact. Miss Lou with Celts producing the fire galleys and should be able to contest the Mongols' numbers. Maybe it is 3 dogs to 3 dogs, but 4th dock going up for the Celts. So looking decent for Lake Robesur even in this game as well. Not doing too much damage with the scouts and archers here from Mellow. It looks like he wants to move on to Clark with the Goths instead. And I'm not sure what the Goths plan is here. Is it a sneak villager? No, Goths scouts, in fact. Scouts and barracks in the back here. So yeah, sneak. Sneak villager for Clark. Classic Black Forest strategy, but why not on migration? Oh, migration, I say. Mediterranean. I missed something in the south corner, indeed. Easy power dealing with the archers here. What's up on the right hand side here? Walling for Paganini as well. T-Fox isn't really making any land efforts though. Could maybe hit the walling builder, but he doesn't see it, so probably not going to do so. Golf scouts, you don't see that every day. But here's Clark roaming about with the scouts in Mellow's base, and Mellow busy with all forward buildings except for the barracks at home. Will need to spam out some spearmen to react to this. So using the barracks, yeah, he's making some spearmen here, saving that landing builder. Scouts and archers on the move, but Byzantines should be able to hold off this as well with their cheaper trash if they're helping out, and looks like the spears and skirms have found a landing builder as well, so good defense from Faraday, all things considered here. Taking some losses. But Paganini has been killing eco units as well, and I guess this could be not villagers but naval units as well. Naval fishing ships, I mean. Clark getting some value as well. Did lose 3 villagers to the aggression of that, but is being that's being dealt with by Faraday at home base, while the scouts get yet another villager, and that's 4 for Clark's eco KD here. Mongols fire galleys seem to be taking charge of water here and winning it for now for BK. Also focusing some red fishing ships in the process. This should be the last of the landing for the orange player for now, with more units to come here. And with rangers already on the enemy side, in the when Mellow makes it to the cast stage, could also go cavalry archers, of course. Speaking of castle age, the Turks' castle is up on the top side here. I guess it's mainly for protection, but you could of course make an argument for a Janissary and siege push against Paganini's home side as well, because he's fighting for water. So if a strong castle age Turks push comes his way, that could do some serious damage on land. He's halfway to the castle age though, so maybe that's not something we're going to see here. Clark still roaming around with scouts, and he is idling Mellow's economy a bit at least. No attempt at getting back on water for Lake Robeseur for now. They have their landing presence still, not really producing, but the buildings are still here. And also securing the sites. Janissary is now popping out for the Turks here. Nasty raiding unit, in fact, because they have such high damage output. Faraday thinking ahead. He sends over the skirmishers and spears to this side to maybe, just maybe, get some hits in on the Janissaries that do have that same armor as archers line units. So skirmishers kind of counter them. It's just a range issue with the skirmishers. Field age skirmishers in particular having only 4 range. Janissaries having 8, but in the castle age should be 5+2 for the elite skirmishers with Vodkin Arrow. That's still 1 range short of the Janissaries. Celts going into a bit of a boom here now to compensate for the fish and the naval armies being lost. Also another TC for the Mongols as well, and towers everywhere here for Paganini, so that's a drain on the stone, but would be wanting to mine stone anyway to get to castles for Mangudai if that was the long-term plan here. More archers in the making for Mello, and the pocket player is the one going to be last to the castle age here for Team Le Corvaiseur. So I guess Celts kind of can kind of contest Goths in the late game. They have full infantry upgrades, and Goths don't have that. They are missing the last armor. So the Celts can go into Master Champions to deal with all infantry units that the Goths can spam. Right now it doesn't look like Clark is going to get there though. It's been annoying with the scouts landing for sure, but hasn't done too much crazy stuff. And now Miss Lou has is going to hunt the landing builder and the presence down here. Maybe already found the builder actually. The Janissary numbers increasing here for Tifux could actually use them to take out fish as well. And mining the forward stone now for more castles. Could even pass through the DC here with no problems, because there's no builders, no economy underneath the town center of Paganini here to keep Janissaries away. Guess could go into guard towers for defense here as well. And there comes the castle for the Mongols, opening up the opportunity of Mangudai here. Hunt's going for a bit of a boom as well, and now the crossbows from the forward ranges with cavalry archers to follow up. Do we have ballistics yet? No ballistics, but still succeeding in taking some builders off the Goths player here. They really don't want to deal with that Goths spam, but crossbows, once the castle is up, Clark can get some Huskarls out here and easily deal with crossbows. A bit more awkward with the cav archers, but still very much doable. Population situation is similar here. It's more military for Lake Robeseur. There's less villagers or fewer villagers for Lake Robeseur as well, but they could switch that up quickly with the Janissary raids going on against the Mongols. Uh-oh, elite skirms though. Uh-oh, they're going to shred the Janissaries here actually, because there's only the feudal age defense for the Janissaries. That's a lot of units going down for Tifux there. Well, the Goths cattle has been spotted, means that the Huskarl may be coming the Celts way soon. Defensive castle and walls close to home base to go up here. Maybe we'll see a second layer of walls as well eventually, just to limit any Goth raids or force them to transport over. Cavalry archers and knights and janissaries now on the move. Janissaries, they outrange town centers, and with their high damage output, they could actually effectively take out buildings once you have a decent mass. They're looping around here. Mangada have 4+1 range. It's going to be 4+2 with Bodkin Arrow, I believe, and which means that the Janissaries still outrange them. Janissaries also outrange skirmishers. If we compare here, they have one more range, 8 to 7 here. One Cavarcher over there for Mellow as well, just to annoy economy. Just one Cavarcher, but the Huskarl cleans that up. 2 forward ranges, not currently producing. And you see the Fire Galleys guarding the shore here as Miss Lou has gone into some Wold Raiders, which I guess can be decent against Goth spam as well, but you'll want Elite in that case. Forward Siege Workshop, defensive castle from Pavellini to react. That's going to keep the siege push from extending too far, and more importantly, more castles to get the Mangudai out as well. .36 military to 56, so looking at the progression here, we have the Celts player going Imperial Age, and PK side also going Imperial Age here. My guess is that the Celts player, Wold Raiders maybe against the Goth spam, will deal with the Goth's castle presumably as well, but will probably drop some barracks as well and go champions, right, sooner rather than later. You could even do a champion siege ram push or heavy scorpions with the choke pointy places here. Lots of options for the Celts to keep the Goths occupied here. And looking at the resources of Clark, it's going to be a while until the Goths reach the Imperial Age as well. So Goths can't stonewall, so Faraday is taking the responsibility for that with the Byzantines here. Could also be a reason behind the pick. Some Huskarl out and raiding here on the Castle Age upgrades for now, because they are in the Castle Age. But they still have high Pierce armor, so they could run close to Towns Center Fire without worrying too much. Let's go back to the top side and have a look. Janissary numbers now looking scary. Third town center going up for Typhus as well, which could mean, of course, an elite Janissary upgrade eventually. Mongols Mangudai numbers very good as well, and Imperial Age on the way. But Mangudai is really expensive to get to the full upgrades of, so that's going to take lots of time and resources. Byzantines with the cheaper Imperial Age is also in the up to the Imp here and will start dealing with the Typhus's forward castles. Another labor of walls for Typhus here is just trying to keep the opponent's side busy around his base, while Miss Louis is kind of planning to maybe claim back water here. That looks like a castle that will allow for some redocking and claim the middle for strategic purposes here. Cannon galleons to deal with the castles close to the shoreline, if any. Maybe not. But it's obviously also covering the gold, which is going to be important. Celt Siege, the fire faster, that applies to trebuchets as well, and since the Goths player hasn't even clicked up to the Imperial Age yet, this castle will go down before Clark can even get trebuchets out here. Clark, not with a crazy amount of military either, is 17 Huscarls out, and I don't even know where they are. Yeah, he wants to transport! No careening though, so he has multiple transport ships here. Only room for 5 units in each. Let's see how that works. See, the market's going up for Lake Hobe, so they're setting up for the late game already, and they definitely have this side secured, so they should have a nice and safe trade route and a head start to the extra gold income from trade. Which also makes the middle water control less significant, because they will have an economic advantage, especially gold, through the trade, and be able to push on land with their gold units. 5 trebuchets out for the Celts player here. That's pretty solid stuff. 2 relics collected as well. So that's the advantage of naval control. You could send a landing over to raid the opponent. Light cav here from Mellow to actually deal with the Huscarls here decently, but the Janissaries come back home as well. And maybe forced a little bit on the defensive here for Typhus. No military to defend the siege push here with full-on skirmishers. 50 skirmishers for Paradise here, with only the Mangonel and the trebuchets and bombard cannon to deal with that. But and of course Dennis is in chat seeing the skirmishers. Attack the enemy with skirmishers. Trebs, and are they elite now? Elite Wold Raiders. Another forward castle. A bit of a ambitious one here. How will the Wold Raiders fare against the Manga? They seem to be keeping up with the speed, but they'll definitely need the numbers to survive this. They almost get a little bit of a surround there. Look at this! Look at this trickle of Wold Raiders here. I guess conscription is in. They're trading so quickly. I didn't know they trained that quickly. And funnily enough, it seems to be working out a bit to some extent against the Manga here. That forward castle, that doesn't happen quite yet though. 200 swordsman is in for Clark. A Magadai walks into a bar. There is no counter. I beg to differ. Looks like the Wold Raiders are doing decent here. But I guess the Magadai aren't. Oh, they are elite. You have bonus against infantry. A bonus against spearmen at least. Ooh, a landing from Paganini here with the Mongols. Want to get some raids in on the trade that they now have started. Both the teams actually have trade running with the buffaloes of the Mongols moving forward. Or is it, what is that actually? Yeah, ox maybe, not a buffalo. Another forward castle for the Celts, and this does not look good for the Goths. If you take out the Goths' production buildings, obviously they can't spam out their infantry, and looking at the production speed, looks like perfusion isn't in yet. Clark will have to escape here and Celt ETC indeed, but this time with trebuchets and Wold Raiders. Hussars for the Turks here, so skirmisher investment being punished by the Hussars of the Huns here actually. Not Turks Hussars, but Huns Hussars. Bomber cannons on the hill. Do they have artillery? Not yet. But a good push going on both sides for Lake Kobe, so here now they are with slightly less military, but a massive economic lead here. Slight eco lead as well. Both tribes go down. I guess that was the Mangodai doing that work, but the BK are about to lose their Celt player. Mangodai on both sides. Fantastic Mongols pocket play here for Paganini, splitting the armies to either side where it's needed, sniping some trebs, but the Wold Raiders always catching up. And they, with the elite, they are actually better with the attack stats and defense than the champions. I didn't know that, but they are. And they probably move faster as well. So Treb and World Raider push continues here. 60 World Raiders and even more in queue here. Leg Officer, they're fighting at pop cap. BK at 400 something pop here because of the Celt player being basically demolished here by the... Because of the Mongol... because of the Ghost player being demolished by the Celts here. I'm sure that Red is an old Black Forest player. Yeah, could be. Could be. Seems to know his way around Celts. What's up on the other side? There's actually a good counter push here with trebuchets from the Byzantines. Full trash and trebuchets, and then Elite Mangudai on this side. Elite Skirmishers should demolish the Elite Janissaries once they get close enough. And it's very important, obviously, for Typhus to keep this castle up on the hill. War ranges. Looking at the map control, though, it's split war into Lake Rovisur's hands here. BK losing their Goths player. 35 builders, 11 military. That's not where we want to have Goths in the late game. Mangudai on either side, there's lots and lots of Mangudai. 44 Mangudai total. Turks going for Sipahi, says Dennis. And there aren't any... Are there any cav archers here? Where? Alright, there they are. Cav archers in the making. Parthian tactics as well. So, but cav archers? There's so many skirmishers here. And these choke points, how's that gonna work out? I guess with the Huns, Hussars and Paladins in front, you'll deal with the skirmishers and then deal with the Mangudai with cavalry archers, Sipai cavalry archers. Do we have any cav archers here to look at the stats? Is there a cav archer in the hall? Odiger coming in for the Celts player as well. Could get some lucky shots in on mass infantry or Mangudai units. 13 in the queue. Yeah. It doesn't come to it though. The game goes to Le Gros, and they take the 4-1 in the 3v3 fighters. Congratulations on making it to the final to both teams, and congratulations to the winner, Le Gros. An interesting set for sure, and it seemed more even than the score should suggest here. It's just good tactical choices and decision making along the way that give Le Gros the win. Taking 3 home maps in a row from BK is no joke though, that's solid. BK, however, proved themselves on Arabia, the first map, where all of the civilizations were mirrored. There was hidden civ free pick, so it was Franks, Britons, Mayans, and they got that one down perfectly. But then they only had naval style maps for the follow-up, and that seems to be playing into the comfortable hands of Le Gros as well. GG's. Alright, let's have a look at the APM chart as well with all the action going on here. Spiking up to the 190 for Paganini at some point there. That's probably microing Mangudai all over the place. But all in all, a good set. Thanks for playing. I'm going to need to contact the winner now about the prize money.